If you clicked on this video, you were probably expecting a 60-foot monster lurking right beneath your beach vacation. And honestly, after 3 weeks buried in marine paleontology papers, what I found is something the movies never told you, and it's far more unsettling than fiction. Deep beneath the sunlit waves 3.6 million years ago, a shadow 60 feet long glides through a tropical bay. High above the coral reefs, this titan rules without equal. It maintains a warm core temperature in chilled water, crushes a whale's thoracic cavity with 20 tons of bite force, and occupies an apex niche so absolute that natural rivals simply do not exist. Every single one of those evolutionary triumphs is about to starve it to death. Fossil records of the true Megalodon abruptly vanished 3.5 million years ago. Nothing hunted it down, nothing defeated it in combat. The ocean simply cooled, and a metabolic engine that expensive couldn't clear its balance sheet. What if a single lineage refused to die? Understanding this sudden collapse requires looking at the luxury that came before it. Meet Kale. She is a 60-foot matriarch megalodon gliding through an equatorial paradise. Her ancestors reigned these waters for 20 million years, supported by an endless nursery of compact, blubber-rich baleen whales. Kale has never once experienced a day of true hunger. Gliding into a calm coastal sanctuary, she prepares to give birth. Among her newborn litter, the pups emerge at 13 feet long, matching an adult great white on day 1. Far from helpless infants, these newborns enter the ocean as immediate apex threats, with one crucial exception. One pup comes out wrong. Her frame is narrow, her tail strokes are sluggish, and her internal thermal output runs significantly colder than her siblings. Beside her robust brothers, she appears defective. Kale abandons her without a second glance. Name that fragile runt Sable. Hold on to her name, because Sable is the sole reason this entire evolutionary line avoids extinction. Maintaining Kale's dominant lifestyle demands an astronomical price paid strictly in blubber. That warm-blooded mesothermy fuels blinding speed in deep waters, but it consumes calories like an open furnace. She requires an adult whale every fortnight just to keep her vital organs functioning. Cold-blooded sharks can throttle their metabolism, drop into low gear, and endure months of famine. Kale lacks that setting. Her body operates in a perpetual state of high overhead metabolic burn. When prey is abundant, that warm-blooded engine is nature's greatest asset. The instant the food supply collapses, it becomes a death sentence. Destruction arrives without drama. Ice sheets expand across the northern hemisphere, locking up fresh water and dropping sea levels. Warm nursery bays dry up into mudflats, while whale migrations shift into freezing offshore currents. You might be wondering why Kale didn't simply switch to smaller fish. If you've ever felt like the world was changing faster than you could keep up with, that's exactly what Kale experienced, magnified across an entire species. Her body was tuned for massive prey. Chasing agile, tiny fish burned more calories than she gained from eating them. Swift, slender rivals soon enter her shrinking territory, the ancestral great white. Built cheap by comparison, the great white runs cooler, demands a fraction of the calorie intake, and thrives on small prey Kale cannot efficiently catch. No cinematic clash occurs along the reef. The great white never attacks Kale, it simply out-eats her. Starvation claims Kale's oversized offspring one by one. Their massive bodies run out of fuel, slow down, and freeze from the inside out. The undisputed sovereign of the sea watches her legacy perish in the very waters her family ruled for millennia. Exhausted and hollowed by famine, Kale eventually stops swimming. Her 60-foot carcass sinks into the abyss, her fossilized teeth settling forever into the oceanic crust. All the perfect giants perish. Only Sable survives. Surviving the die-off was possible because the singular vulnerability that killed her family, that colossal body, was the exact trait Sable lacked. Sable ran cool. Her body was light. In an ocean stripped of blubber, being a defective runt granted her an 80% markdown on her daily metabolic overhead. Inheriting her efficient genetics, Sable's descendants initiate a brand new evolutionary branch, a lineage paleontologists would never find in the fossil record because its teeth were too small and too scattered to preserve. Survival rule number 1: abandon the crown. Stop being the largest monster in the sea and focus entirely on outlasting starvation. 2 million years grind past as the Pleistocene ice ages batter the globe. Glacial maximums freeze the surface, reducing the surviving population to a dangerously thin bottleneck. Navigating a brutal glacial freeze, a descendant named Silt faces near extinction. To endure, their line pulls the only biological lever available. They shrink again. 60 feet shrinks to 40, 40 compresses down to 25. As their size drops, a dangerous new intelligence dominates the surface waters: early pack-hunting orcas. Pack-hunting cetaceans operate with coordinated strategy. A 25-foot descendant could kill an isolated killer whale, but it cannot survive 6 intelligent pack hunters attacking its flanks simultaneously. Faced with coordinated pack tactics, what choice remains? Sable's lineage executes the move Kale's pride never allowed. Backing off from unwinnable fights, the survivors retreat into the twilight ocean, where quiet patience replaces raw aggression. Crowned kings died out in the Pleistocene. The lineage carried forward because it was humble enough to hide. Enduring 2 million years of glacial cycles, the survivors master a stealthy lifestyle. Stay deep, shadow whale migrations, and target the vulnerable. Then, industrial human whaling arrives like a tidal wave. In the single North Atlantic alone, a single factory ship could process 40 whales per day, stripping the carcasses down to bone before nightfall. Within a single century, human fleets slaughter nearly 3 million baleen whales. Humans empty the oceans of the largest energy source on Earth to manufacture lamp oil, soap, and corsets. For the first time since the Pleistocene cooling, the survival math turns negative again. The deep ocean that had sustained this lineage for 2 million years is being industrially drained in decades. Driven back to the brink of starvation, the survivors deploy their final adaptation, the same trick that saved Sable in the beginning. They descend permanently into the mesopelagic twilight zone, hundreds of meters below the reach of commercial nets, sonar arrays, and wooden hulls. They shrink once more, and they vanish from human detection entirely. Hollywood painted a 60-foot Leviathan onto movie posters, but that creature is pure fantasy. If a 60-foot warm-blooded shark occupied the surface today, satellite monitoring would track it devouring commercial catches within a week. I know it might feel almost disappointing at first. We all want the movie monster. But think about what actually surviving down there requires in 2026. Stripped of its ancient bulk, the real survivor is roughly 12 to 14 feet long. Counter-shaded pigments cover its frame, dark charcoal along the spine, pale ash underneath. Enlarged pupils process faint bioluminescence in the deep abyss. It retains the thick, serrated crushing teeth of its ancient ancestors, scaled down to clamp onto mid-sized prey. Far from a movie monster, this animal is an ocean ghost. A few thousand individuals likely remain worldwide, scattered so thinly across abyssal trenches that a diver could explore the seas for a lifetime and never catch a glimpse. Imagine one tonight off the Mariana Trench. Humpback whales move along the dark surface while an orcapod tracks them a mile to the east. Overhead, a commercial long-line fishing vessel hums across the water. Suspended 50 meters below the surface noise, a 14-foot shadow hovers in total blackness. Sensing the mechanical vibration of a fishing boat and the sonar clicks of the orcas, it refrains from attacking. It avoids the vessel. It yields to the orcas. It exercises ancient patience. A drifting whale calf strays 30 yards from its mother. One explosive, silent burst from the dark secures a meal, and the oldest survival story in marine history buys itself one more night. Historical records prove that when the original Megalodon went extinct, Its disappearance allowed baleen whales to grow into modern giants like the blue whale. Every giant whale swimming today exists because the original titan died out. Biological survival rarely favors raw power. Radical adaptation is the price of existence. The quickest way to get wiped off the face of the earth isn't by being weak, it's by being too perfect at a world that is about to change. What creature or hypothetical evolutionary scenario should we cover next? Drop your ideas in the comments. I read every single one. And if this deep dive earned your trust, that subscribe button is right there. I'll see you in the next one.